Then, thank you. He faced lots of threats and risks from terrorists and Taliban. He moved to Australia in 2015 and working here in construction and carpentry. His brother and sister working for government and country most of the time. He and his family was part of the civil society and activists back there in Kabul to raise voice for justice, human rights, and woman rights. And then with you, Esmat, if someone has a question, please up the hand. I don't know, what do you say? Okay, Esmat, you can start. We can hear you.
Is it good now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. My name is Esmat, as Diana said. I can't speak Espanol, so if you don't understand, then ask me again so I can repeat it, or maybe Diana will translate it. Yeah, if I'm a little bit sounds a little bit disconnected because emotionally I'm not good, feeling not well from last week, last 10 days. I'm in shock. I'm still in shock. What happened in Afghanistan? I lived there like 25, 26 years. My family is still there. So it's a shock. It's a crisis. It's a human crisis. But slowly we are accepting what happened. Yeah, if you have question, ask me, or I'll just keep going, give you information. I know Colombians don't have much information about Afghanistan. I know that because you're far on the other side of the world. So maybe you're hearing just on the news, which is most of the time it's censored. The government don't want to tell you everything. I know that, but I can tell you a bit of history about Afghanistan and then how things happen. Meanwhile, if you have a question, just please ask anytime, be friendly, so I can give you answers. So the more you know, then the better you understand and the better you can decide what to do, what to say. Well, Afghanistan is like located between Central Asia and South Asia. It's like a bridge. So the only thing Afghanistan been always attention to the superpowers, because its geopolitical location is very, very important. So any superpower from last 300 years, so any superpower, if it was British, if it was Russians, and now Americans, maybe in future China, they all have eyes on Afghanistan because it's very important. So once you have control over Afghanistan, then you can control overall Asia. That's why it's always a battle. It's like a ground for the superpowers. So it's both politically very important and economically very important. So if you look at it from British, we had few fights, like British were there in India from last 200 years. They tried to control Afghanistan. And then on the north, we have Russia. Russia was the closest neighbor to us. So that was like a battleground between Russia and British. But in 1970s, Russia moved in, they invade Afghanistan. So that was the start of all problems in recent 100 years. And United States and the West, they never wanted Russia to be in Afghanistan. So what they did, they supported all the Islamic groups, all the, like the radical Muslims in Saudi, in Africa, in Palestine, in Syria, everywhere. So the US give them money with the help of Arabs. So they give them money, they give them weapons, plus the religious Muslim imams, they give them this idea, like you You go to Afghanistan and fight against Russians. They're non-Muslims. They invade Afghanistan. So that was the start of extremism in Afghanistan. So all these Arabs, Pakistanis, Africans, from all over the world, all these extremists, they came into Afghanistan to fight the Russians. So technically, US created those extremists to beat Russia in 1970 and 80s, like 34 years ago. So what happened after 10 years, Russia was beaten. So their economy was gone. So they withdraw from Afghanistan and they left Afghanistan with nothing. They didn't have like banks, no universities, no government, like completely nothing. It was just collapsed. So all these terrorists around the world, they were just there in Afghanistan for 20 years. So of course, when you have terrorists in a country and they control the country, they do nothing because they don't know what to do. They can't do government, they can't do banking, they can't do anything. So they just did nothing for 20 years. They just destroyed the whole nation. And in 2001, when 9/11, I think, no, sorry, not 2001, it was 2000. When 9/11 happened in US, so US moved to Afghanistan. So they took over Afghanistan for the reason like, okay, there's a lot of terrorists, they're fighting America and blah, blah. So they come in, that was good. It was good for us, like at least the new government was established, a lot of jobs created. US helped a lot, big money, all the Western countries, international, they helped Afghanistan to build the government, to establish the universities, banking, everything was set up. And I'm the product of that. Sorry. You hear me? Okay. If you can't hear me, let me know.
Yes, we can. You can.
Okay, good. So 20 years ago, United States intention was different. So they came into Afghanistan. Their intention was to build a government to help Afghanistan. But now, like after 20 years, because China is very close to Afghanistan, Russia is very close to Afghanistan, the United States intention is now different. They don't want a peaceful Afghanistan, because if the Afghanistan is peaceful and secure, then it will be a help to China and Russia. And we all know like China is a big superpower economically. So if there is security, and we have bordered with China, So we are thinking like Russia, sorry, US didn't want that. So now they made a mess. So they just like, excuse me, I'm coughing a little bit. So like 20-year government, US just hand over everything to Taliban in 10 days, which technically it's impossible. It's completely impossible. So that's, everyone is shocked. You guys just ask me question if you have up to here. I'll just connect my phone to the charge. Sorry, I'm a bit coughing.
Yeah. Esmat, they have two questions in the chat.
Yeah, I'm just plugging in.
Yes, I don't know if you know that in Colombia we receive 4,000 Afghan people. Will they travel to United States? They will stay in Colombia for some time. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know. So they're gonna go Colombia.
Yes, but they want to know how do you think they will feel in our country? Because our culture is so different. Do you know that? And our language, of course, is different. Then how do you think that your people will feel in our country? Will they wait travel to United States?
I don't know how long they're gonna stay, but I'm sure they will be okay. The only problem will be language. The rest it will be okay. Like I said, Afghans, they're 95% Afghans are Muslim, yeah. But our Islam is very secular, you know, like we traditionally we are very secular. We are okay with any religion, with any color. We have Hindus in Afghanistan. We had Jewish people in Afghanistan. We had Buddhists in Afghanistan. So Afghans culturally they are very secular. But like I said, when the Arabs moved to Afghanistan, they bring this new edition or new version of Islam, which is very strict. And these Taliban is one of them. So they have problem with everything. So I'm sure the Afghans who will stay in Colombia for, I don't know how long, 1 year, 2 years, they will be okay. The only problem will be language. The rest will be okay. I'm sure like Mexico, Colombia, Brazil, they're very close. They're very close to Afghans. Even a lot of people here call me like if I'm Mexican. So they will be okay. Just language barriers. Plus, I know like Latinos are very friendly, so that will be fine for them. They will feel much better than US in Colombia or Mexico. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Say, could you describe how the life was under Soviet Union control? How was in terms of education, economy, and in life in general?
Okay. Yeah, I think I was not born that time because that thing is like 35 years ago. But I heard it from my dad. My dad was working at the government that time. So people now, when they compare it to Americans, they say Russians were good. They were really helping. They were really helping because we are neighbors to the Russians, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're saying like after 35 years, like we should not fight Russians. Why did we fight Russians? Russia was a big superpower. We were their neighbors. So they came in and we should have like something mutual, you know, like mutual understanding. What they want, we give them. What we want, we take it from them. So we could help each other. We should not fight them. But America was there. They were like pushing monies. They were pushing weapons. And they were triggering this thing like, oh, okay, you should fight. This is jihad. And they bring all these terrorists from Africa and Arab countries. They bring it to our country. So we think life was very good in that time. Life was very, very good. We should not fight them. That fight create a lot of problems. Now America came in. America have their own agenda. They are not there for us, you know. Look, they were there for 20 years and now something pop into their mind because of China or Russia. They left everything to a group of terrorists just in 10 days. Well, they could help the government, like at least that not collapse, you know. But they collapse the government, they give everything to Taliban, and they have some deals with Taliban because in 2017 they give an office to Taliban in Qatar. Qatar is a small country close to somewhere Iraq or somewhere. So they give them office. So it's been 3-4 years they're talking with each other. So now Taliban is a good option for them, for Americans, but for us it's very bad option for Afghan civilians because you know the news. They don't know humans right. They don't know women's right. They're not allowing women to work in the office. If they're working, they should be separate. Plus, they're not education. They are just religious people. Imagine like if you take a pop, what do you call it? The guy who is in the church, yeah. So he's expert in the church. So if you bring that guy and make it like Minister of Health or make it Minister of Transport, it doesn't work. So now all these religious people, they come in, one is Minister of Transport, the other one is Minister of Health, the other one is Minister of Agriculture. It doesn't work. That's our problem. We keep telling US, like, what are you doing? These are just religious people. We don't have problem with religious people, just leave them in masjid and mosque and church, wherever they belong to. But you putting them in the sectors, you give them government. And that's our problem. And we know where it goes. So if you bring someone from church or a mosque, give him a sector in government, he can't do anything. He will just sit there. But he will just reunite, and then he will keep telling, this thing is not for, this is not Islam, this is Islam. So they're not gonna let women study. They're not gonna women work in the government. Yeah, of course they will say, okay, now they're saying, no, we're leaving the school. So what they're gonna do next day? They will change the school. Like they will say, okay, don't teach science, don't teach biology, don't teach economy. What they're gonna teach? Just Islamic studies. That's what they're gonna do next. And then they tell you people like, oh no, there's school, the girls are going to the school. That's a disaster. Which we're not letting it, not gonna happen. We're fighting it, but the thing is, why the United States is behind it? Why the whole world is quiet? Why they are behind it?
Okay, thank you. Daniel, tú puedes hablar.
Hi, Esmat. Yeah, I just need to put my camera on. Okay, yeah, it's working. Do you know what your name means in Colombia?
Not sure, but I think it means something. I hope
It's
it
not
doesn't
quite,
mean something bad.
it's a very, very strong, I would say. It's like the Riot Squad, like the Riot Police.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the Esmat in Colombia. Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not bad word, at least.
Well, I wanted to ask you, but that was not my question. Well, the thing is this one, like it is like a sort of myth that that the Talibans were coming from the Mujahideen. Yeah, the Mujahideen. So this is the thing, like just for giving some context to the people, Afghanistan was invaded by the Soviet Union, and the Soviet Union was fighting, the Afghan people. So what United States did was to arm the fundamentalists, as far as I know. And then the fundamentalists took the guns and the Quran, and they fought for their religion, their language, their people, their land, and so on. Then they beat, it's interesting, like two or three at least global powers had been in Afghanistan, and practically all of them had been repelled. And the Soviet Union eventually was kicked out. And what was left over of the Mujahideen, they became, as far as I understand, another groups like Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, and so on. So is there any relationship when United States left the country and the formation of the Taliban?
No, are you asking like they beat Americans, or US had a good relation with Taliban? That's what you're saying, yeah?
Yeah, it's what I mean, that they kick out the America just left because they couldn't beat the Taliban. And I see the Taliban, let's say they are a guerrilla and they are supported by a lot of people regardless what they do. But I mean, there is like the armies people of the time, and they repelled the Soviet Union, they repelled the United States had to left, and England left too, and so on.
That's a good question. That's why we blame US. We're not saying that US stay in Afghanistan. We already told them, okay, yeah, you go, we can protect our country. Yeah, we had 300,000 Afghan army. We had like thousands of police officers. We had everything. The only thing we wanted, US, like, don't talk with these Talibans. Why did you give them office? And all these Talibans, they're all staying in Pakistan. Pakistan is the country, the longest border with Afghanistan. So we Afghans and our government, we were asking US like, okay, tell Pakistan, pressure Pakistan to not support Taliban's. And it was impossible that Taliban take over Afghanistan because we had our government. So what happened, American like destroyed the whole government thing. Like they find some people inside, you know, hand over all the Afghan army to Taliban. That's why we upset with the Americans, because they made a secret deal with Taliban. And now there are like thousands of Americans there with Taliban. They're working in the airport together. And this Taliban leader, he came from Qatar to Afghanistan in a US Army plane. That's why we are upset. We know what Americans want. Americans want a government like Saudi. Like, look at the Saudis. They have all these extremists in the government, and then Saudi give all the oil to Americans, and Americans don't care about human right, women right, Sharia, Islam or not Muslim. They don't care. They just want their base, army bases, and they just want their fuel. So they're gonna do same thing in Afghanistan. So they're gonna hand over Afghanistan to these extremists, and then they will make a deal like, okay, you can leave your army base here, and you can take.
So it's kind of. Oh.
Esmat,
is rich with all these.
you have to back a little because no, repeat please. The last part, repeat.
Oh, okay, the last part. Yeah. So what it is, US have a secret deal with Taliban, so they made them in power, and then they will have their deal with US. Like Afghanistan have this location, like I said, very important location. Plus, Afghanistan have a lot of minerals. Like it's very rich. Like they say, it's trillion dollars minerals that you can use it in this new technology. So Afghanistan is the only country that have a lot of those, like uranium, some other minerals. I forgot the name, but the main one is uranium. So those minerals, they're gonna make a deal with US. They're gonna leave a few bases, same as Saudi Arabia. There's very extremist government, but US is very happy with them. They left their soldiers in Saudi Arabia, and they take their fuel, their petroleum, and they have very good relation. So that's what they're gonna do. Because the previous government, Ashraf Ghani, he was a smart guy. He was educated. He was university professor in the United States. He was smart. He was making deals with US, like, okay, we give you all these things, but I also have conditions. And then US didn't like those conditions, you know. So now there are two scenarios. Yeah, like either it's gonna be a good, peaceful Afghanistan, but the leaders will be these Taliban, or the other scenario is they're gonna be a big fight, you know, like a big mess. So problem for China and Russia. So these two scenarios. Hope it's not true that they're gonna be a mess, because US want create some problems in neighborhood to China so that they can stop China and Russia. I hope that's not true, but these two scenarios exist.
Oh my God.
So what do you reckon will be happening in the future with Afghanistan?
One moment. One moment,
Yeah.
and we follow. If someone has a question, please put the hand.
Right.
For go like in the order. Edison, please. Sorry.
No, don't worry. Don't worry. That's all right. You're
yes.
right.
Before to Maria Paula El Capi, right? Can you explain the difference between the are Sunni and Shia different? Do you understand me? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another factor. That's another factor playing, like Shia and Sunni. So if you notice, Iran is Shia state, and then Saudi Arabia is Sunni state. So they have competition. They have very strong competition between each other. And then Afghanistan is again Sunni state. So what happened? Iran and United States is no good. They are not happy with each other. And then Saudi Arabia, like the Arabs are very good with Americans. So what they do, they want. I'm sure these Taliban, they come with the help of Arabs and US. So they want a strong Sunni state on the other side of Iran, the Persians. So that play another role. Yeah. But there is difference, not a big difference, but there is, how would I say, like Catholic Christians and Orthodox Christians, something like that. But at the end of the day, they're both Muslim, but there are a few small differences. But politically, they have differences.
Which difference?
Just in practicing, but politically, they are not happy with each other. Because Iran is a power. They have a strong country. They have the few. They have their independence, and they don't want to give their fuel to US. So they are Shias. They are good with Russia. They have a good relation with Russia and China. And then Saudi Arabia, Syria, all these other Arab countries, they are Sunni Muslims, but they have very good relation with Americans. So that there is a competition between them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
that they play their role in Afghanistan. So Saudi want bigger role in Afghanistan. Iran want their role, and then there's another competition between India and Pakistan. So Pakistan is supporting Taliban from day one, and they were all there in Pakistan, and India was supporting the government. And then there is Russia and China, and then so Afghanistan is, like, I would say, like a football ground. Everyone is playing their roles, like they want something in there, because the location is very important. It's very important, because in the Central Asia, like Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, these all states, they are very rich with gas and fuel. Yeah. And then South Asia, like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, they need gas. They're like dying for the gas. They want it. They have a lot of factories, but they don't have gas. But Afghanistan is just straight in between. So they have just one way to run all the pipelines from Afghanistan. So if Afghanistan is peaceful, so that whole area can grow up. With China want that thing, but their big powers are there. They're playing it. But we don't care about those. Our people has been miserable from last 40, 50 years with these big powers playing their games.
Okay, thank you. Now, Maria Paula have a question. Has a question, my grandma.
Yeah, hi, how are you? Thank you for for talking to us. Yeah, I just have two questions. The first one is, you mentioned before that that when the US arrived to Afghanistan, they had like good interests. I was wondering if you can develop on that, like concretely what did that mean at the time? What kind of sort of development were they thinking to bring? And yeah, I don't know, do you want me to tell you the other question, or do you want to?
Yeah, ask the other question as well.
So in my understanding, the Afghanistan is the biggest recipient of OCHA aid, which is the humanitarian fund for the of the UN. And I'm aware that you worked for the UN as an engineer, right? So I was wondering, do you think that humanitarian aid money has served in anything to Afghanistan, or has sort of contributed to increase the like, I don't know, the
corruption or something like that.
corruption, or has it improved the material conditions of people? Has it improved roads? Has it improved has it improved food access, or whatever the humanitarian projects are in there? Yeah, what do you think of that?
Yeah, okay, yeah, good question. Yeah, US had like a good intention 20 years ago when they came to Afghanistan. They wanted a developed Afghanistan with the people that helps US, like bilateral. So we help US is helping us. So they had that intention. So it not become place for the terrorists that bother United States or something like that. So US wanted their bases in Afghanistan so they can control Asia, or they can watch Russia and China. So we were happy for that. Like, okay, you came here. They spent money on the roads, on the schools, on the clinics. So they established a government. We were very happy, which was good. We thank them for all the helps they did to Afghanistan. But now their intention is different. Like they're thinking, okay, if we're making a good Afghanistan, a very peaceful and advanced Afghanistan, it is not helping US, it's helping China and Russia, because US is like a million miles away and China is just our neighbor. So that's why their intention is different, because 20 years ago, China was not a big threat. Now China is like, wake up, they're rising. Russia was sleeping 20 years ago, but now Russia is moving, So US is creating a that's one of the scenarios. So they can stop their rivals here, keep them busy. Because this fighting things make a country tired, Like even US is tired now, like how much money they should spend on the army and all these weapons. So they leave this mess for China and Russia to sort it out, but they created it. So I hope that was kind of an answer. That's what we have.
It was.
Yeah.
So it sort of
Yeah.
became a battlefield now.
Yeah, exactly. So they can stop China somehow, And the other part, like the money, yeah, there was like big money, like $1 billion came to Afghanistan in the last 20 years. Yeah, that money, I know a lot of them went back in corruption. There was a lot of American companies working in Afghanistan. They took big money, and then there was a big corruption. I've seen it, I've saw it, but apart from that, yeah, a lot of roads were built, a lot of schools, hospitals, millions girls and boys went to school. So that's future for Afghanistan. I'm product of that 20 years ago. I studied school, went to uni, worked here and there, That was all happened when this UN or United Nations helps were there. So we are happy for that. We appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of things happened, but now everything is back to the ground. That's very upsetting. A lot of women activists, a lot of civil activists were there. We had a good media, our mass media was very good. We had a lot of like 10-20 TVs which they were expressing freedom of speech. We had too many radios, we had newspapers, but look now, everything is shut down, everything is controlled by Taliban. Even the neighbor countries like Pakistan, Iran, they didn't have that much freedom of speech like we had it last 20 years. But now it's stopped. That's scaring us at what's gonna happen in future, because everything is very complicated. What happened last 10 days, like in 10 days, the whole thing collapsed. So now no one knows what's happening in the future, because Taliban is there in the power. They don't know how to run the government because they don't know. They're all uneducated people. They just know religion, that's it. They don't know how to run the government. So there's no, all the foreign countries, they stop their embassies. they don't recognize them officially yet. So there's no help, no money, no government. So how long that gonna last? 3 months, 6 months? And what about all these millions of people? Yeah, I know, like US or other countries, they taking refugees, maybe 1 million, 2 million refugees, but there's like 35 million people living, all people not living the country, what gonna happen? Yeah, it's very complicated, but we know what happened is in control of whoever did, like the big powers, but I hope there is something good, not bad.
Okay, thank you, Esmat. Monica, can you ask, please?
Hi, thanks for coming. Sorry, I was a little bit late. I wanted to ask you a question in relation to the Australian government. So what is the Australian government doing? And if you guys have like a movement or like a, how do I say, like a kind of, yeah, like a collective that is kind of pushing the Australian government to get refugees to come and to get like actual permanent protection, to get like visas and stuff like that, because we know refugees in Australia kind of struggle a lot. So that's one question. And the other one I saw that is kind of like, so there is still like some, I don't know how to say, but there is some people there that is fighting against them. So what do you think about that? If it's yeah, like if it's who is it, and what do you think about that?
Yeah, thanks. There's a big community, big Afghan community here in Australia. They all 3 days ago, 4 days ago, they had like online meeting with the Prime Minister Scott Morrison, like to ask for help, what's happening on all these crises. They already give like 3,000 visas. They're gonna help like 3,000 visas to those people who are in risk, because now we have problem, like these Taliban took over, they're gonna kill the people who are working in the government, the people who are like women activists, human activists. So Australian government issued 3,000 visas to help those people who are really in risk. So they're gonna take them out and bring them here, which is good. But even Afghan community asked for more people to bring them, to rescue them, because these people are the future for Afghanistan. So if we lose these people, these educated, experienced people, they're open-minded people, if you lose them, then there is no hope for the future. So yeah, they did give 3,000 visas. And about the resistance against Taliban in Afghanistan, it started already, because now things are changing. The women, the girls are very strong. They go there, they have their telephone with them, they have their Facebook Live, they just go there, they saying, okay, we're gonna work here, you can't stop us. People holding Afghanistan flag, even Taliban is like beating them, like don't hold this flag. But people fighting, they're not stopped, they don't care anymore. Like they knows like what gonna happen if you guys are here, you're gonna kill us anyway. So it's better the whole world see you. They make videos, they take photos, they go live on Facebook, like okay, they're showing to the whole world, like okay, the whole world is watching. If you're stopping me from work, if you're hitting me, if you're beating me, how are you gonna do the government? The whole world is watching you, So the Taliban is also a little bit scared, like they can't push it too much, but at the end of the day, they have the control, they have the weapons, they have the government. So yeah, people start resisting, people started resisting, but like personally for me, I don't know the direction, where the direction goes. So once I know there is a direction, there is a group of people, they're fighting, so I will be helping them, give them advices, help them if possible. Yeah, why not? If there's real struggle, if there's a real line of resistance, I will go join them to fight against these terrorists. But till now, we don't know what's happening, because all the political parties, the previous government, president, everyone is shocked. Like, I keep watching news, TVs. We don't know where is it going. No one knows. Like, the whole world is quiet. Even the world is saying nothing. All these big countries. So we just waiting, like, what's gonna happen next 2-3 months, 6 months. So once we know what they want, what the world want, and then we will see, like, if they really changed, they want a government, then yeah. So at the moment, everyone is confused. People not taking action yet, but they are resisting in their own civil way. People are resisting.
And regarding the Australian government, it feels like they should be doing more. So you guys here are like, what are kind of the mechanisms to get more help from Australia?
Yeah, true. We asked them for more help. We did, but you know, Australian immigration is too tight, very hard. You know, like they. But we did ask, like Canada asked for 20,000 immigrants to help them, but they just did 3,000. The community put pressure on them, like, okay, you have to at least save, you know, the people who are really in risk, you know, like Taliban now taking some people out of their house at night. They go just take them out. Like, if I was there, because I'm always on social media, I fight, I post photos, we go against them. So if I was there, they would definitely look for me. So like people like me, they go just at night, go their houses and take them out, because they wanna kill the voice, you know. So once they kill the voice, that's gonna be a problem. So what we saying for these countries, like, help them, at least these people who are the future for Afghanistan. It is a crisis, yeah, but it is very, like, it happened suddenly. It wasn't like we were not expecting. We were expecting they're gonna fight for a while and then they will sit together, they will reach a political agreement. But everything changed very dramatic, unexpected. So till now, we don't know what's gonna happen, if there will be more crisis, so more refugees. I hope not. So let's see next month, the next 3 months or 6 months maximum, see what happens. But we appreciate people like you. They're standing with us. Like in India, there's a big number in India. They're standing, raising their voice. So everywhere there are like people who raise the voice and pressure on the governments and ask them, like, what is your role? Why are you watching? While there's crisis especially for women and children. Yeah,
I have a couple questions.
Alex,
yeah, sure.
sorry, no, one moment. You have to, no sé, tienes que levantar la mano, perdóname, es como para seguir el orden. Ay,
Where is the
perdón.
hand? Okay.
Sorry, en la parte
I
de
didn't see
abajo.
that. Don't worry.
Sorry, perdóname. Ok. Daniel, Daniel, can you ask, please? Daniel.
Ya, disculpo, casi no encuentro eso. So what practically you say is, because they couldn't conquer or stabilize the zone, they would instead opt to destabilize it, isn't it? Like, they will create the chaos, so it will be more difficult for the other countries to get some reward from that, or something like that. So, but the other thing is like, it sounds like eventually a plan. It's like, like, no surprise, it's something that US will do. But also the deal that happened between US and the Taliban, it happened before they left, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So like you said, you asked a very smart question. It was a plan. It was a very specific, very precise plan. Because otherwise, how come a government collapse in 10 days? It was a very smart plan, a very precise plan. Plus, like, let's say, how come the Taliban take over everything in 10 days? And then how come in the same day, Americans in the airport and they're not fighting with Americans? There are a lot of things, like you can tell it's already planned. Like it sounds they already had an agreement, like, okay, you guys doing this, we doing this, you guys doing that, we guys doing that. So it looks like a very smart plan, yeah.
They left the guns behind, they left the helicopters behind, they left the hammers behind. So what happened in the Soviet
Se te cortó.
when the
no te escuchamos. Se te cortó un pedacito.
Okay. What happened in the Soviet Union when they were fighting the Nazis was that the Soviet Union retreat and allowed the Nazis to take a big part of the country, but they burned and destroyed everything when they retreat. It was nothing there. They left nothing. But what happened here is that the United States had left so much guns that the Taliban are thinking to switch between the AK-47 to the yeah, whatever the things, MP16. I can't remember the name of the rifle, US rifle, assault rifle. Yeah, so it sounds very interesting also what you say, and that's perfect perspective, and it does make sense.
Yeah. So it was like part of a plan, exactly. And one of the plan is like all the weapons, Taliban took all the weapons. So now they are like very strong, like a strong army, because they took everything. But it, like, any human being would think, like, how is that possible that a government with 20 years just collapse in 10 days? But now if you think it, like, it was very precise plan, a very good plan from last 3 years or 5 years, whatever you call it. But we civilians, we don't know it, but slowly now, when you're connecting the dots, you understand, like, what was it? It sounds like a very smart plan. But the only thing we don't know yet, like, what gonna happen in future? What is part of the plan in future? That's scaring us. Hope it's not a big fight. Like I said before, it's gonna be two scenarios. One scenario is just US will be happy with these Talibans, so they give whatever US want, and US will just support them. Or the other scenario is just they're gonna start a fight and a big mess, a big chaos, just to stop Russia and China and make a problem for them. I hope this is not true. It's not happen. Yeah.
Thank you, Esmat. After Jefferson, I will ask the questions that are in the chat, but now follow Alex. Alex, now you can ask.
Oye, Anita, qué pena. ¿Tenías las preguntas del chat antes de que Alex levantara la mano? Tenías 3 preguntas antesitos. No sé si de pronto...
Okay. And then Alex
Then
and
go ahead.
Jefferson, wait me a little, please. My English is not good, but if Esmat understand me, it's okay. Ruth had asked whether Afghanistan now poses a security risk to China. With regards, I know someone want read. Monica, dale.
1 second. Wood has asked whether Afghanistan now poses a security risk to China with regards to the persecution of Uyghur Muslims. How does the Taliban relate to Islamic peoples in Asia? Didn't understand much, but I hope you do.
No, I understand. I understand. Yeah, that's the main thing, all these Uyghur Muslim, like the China government had pressure them, torture the Uyghur Muslims. So United States gonna use that. United States gonna use that. All the Islamic extremists in Africa, in Saudi Arabia, in Asia. So they will bring them all to Afghanistan, and then from Afghanistan they're gonna create a problem for China. Like that will be the reason. Like, oh, okay, China pressured Uyghur Muslims, so now let's fight China. Because I call them religious robots. Like these Muslims, like they don't have political idea, they don't have economical idea. They just sit there and you just tell them, okay, fight China, they fight China. If you tell them fight US, they fight US. If you tell them fight Russia, they fight Russia. They don't have brain, they are just like robots. And United States used them very good against Russia, and now they can use it against China. So that's why I'm worried. That's why I'm worried too much. Hope that not happen, but it sounds like it's gonna happen. Yeah, China is scared. China is very worried about that because China want a peaceful Afghanistan, so they can take some minerals from Afghanistan, and then they can run their economy to Central Asia, South Asia. But of course, there's America. They have evil plans. But let's see what's gonna happen. Yeah, that's what all the political analysis talking about this. That it's gonna be a problem for China, and we have border with China. We have border with China, and if that headache start, China will be in big problem. And hope this is not part of the planning for that big problem.
Okay, thank you.
No
I
worries.
think did you ask this question before, but I will ask again.
Yeah.
From Maria Elena, is possible the ex-president of the USA was the one who began the talk with the Taliban, then Donald Trump?
So ask it again. Sorry.
If you think that Donald Trump was the president that started to talk with the Taliban for the situation that they are in Afghanistan now?
Yeah. Okay. I think it didn't make any difference. They start talking with Taliban 3 years ago, 2017. So they give them an office in Qatar. So they start talking during Trump administration, and now it just implemented in Biden administration. So I would say it wouldn't change anything because they had that plan from last 5 or 10 years ago. So I don't think it was changing anything. It would be same if they had that plan from 3 years ago. Because US is not changing the big plans. They will stick to it no matter who is coming in and out. Yeah.
Okay. The last one from the chat, and after Alex, from Capi. What do you think about opium? Because the production was increased when the US began invasion in Afghanistan.
Yeah, that's another factor. Like Afghanistan has this big production of opium. So US came, they didn't stop anything, but they just had control over it. And most of the Taliban, they get their funds from these smugglers and opiums in Afghanistan. Yeah, that is one of the factors helping Taliban. And yeah, and it's gonna be a chaos again. Like if Taliban took over, they can start again production of opium, and they will send it to Europe and Asia. But they make good money out of the opiums. Yeah, that is one of the factor playing role helping Taliban.
Okay, thank you. Alex, now, sorry, will you say something?
No, I said no worries. You said thank you.
Okay. Alex, you can us
Thank
now.
you. Okay. I know you already mentioned that it all seems like there was a plan. And yeah, okay, we know that the US left, but don't you think that also the government was involved? Because it seems like it's very unlikely that a country with an army of 300,000 people is gonna fall against 75,000 Talibans. I think that I don't know if my numbers are very accurate, but I think that's what I read. So I don't know. It seems to me that they surrendered, kind of.
Exactly.
It was.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So the part of the government people, they just hand over, like they told them, don't fight. So that's also part of, like, now we thinking the people who are in the government, they help like Taliban to hand over, you know, like I know Afghan army. My cousins were in Afghan army, 2 of my cousins.
Yeah.
Last time I spoke to them 2 weeks ago, I called them like video call, and I was saying like, what's happening? Why are you guys not fighting? And he was like crying. He had like, you know, like his eyes were like water, and he said like, they're not letting me to fight. You know, like how the army soldier is. Like he was saying, I want to fight these people. I can kick them out in 1 week, in 1 day, but my commander is not letting me to fight. And I said, why is that? He said, I don't know. My commanders keep telling me don't fight them. And I said, who is telling your commander? And he said, like, the other big commander is telling me don't fight. So all the army soldiers, they were like just like kind of crying, like, why not letting us to fight them? So that those commanders, whoever they were, so they were part of the plan that don't fight them. Otherwise, it was impossible. Like you said, 77,000 or 75,000 Taliban who have nothing, just one AK-47, and then the whole army collapsed.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make sense. Yeah. So they didn't fight them at all. So they didn't beat any Afghan army, but they surrender. So now people asking why they surrender, how they surrender.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That doesn't add up. And yeah, and the second question, I am aware that some interventions of the US and the UN have been successful and others have not. Like, for example, South Korea, Japan, Germany, after the Second World War. What do you think? I mean, what prevented Afghanistan from becoming, in your opinion, one of those successful examples? I mean, what happened? Because they were there for 20 years receiving help. What happened?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, well, we can't compare Afghanistan to Japan or Germany, because they were already, you know, like Germany was a superpower. They had like the best factories. They had the best what do you call, like human resource, like very educated people. But of course Hitler destroyed it. But the people were smart, you know, they recovered back. Like they didn't care, like, okay, US is here, Russia is there, we don't care, we want to build our country. They worked 12 hours, 18 hours. People were smart, they built it. Same thing Japan did. But in Afghanistan, we were in war like from last 4 years, you know. Like I said, when the Russia invaded Afghanistan, so the system was collapsed. And then when the Russia left, we had all these extremists, you know, like extremists from all around the world. And then they took over the government, you know, with the help of some extremists from Afghanistan. So that was the problem, because they took over the government and they didn't know how to build it, you know.
Yeah.
So our problem is like these same mujahideen who took over after Russians. So they help when Americans moved to Afghanistan in 2020 or 2021. Sorry, yeah, 2001. Americans bring these mujahideen back to the power, you know.
Yeah.
But that was a problem. If Americans did not hire these mujahideen back to the power, Afghanistan had their educated people, their smart people, you know. So then the situation would have been different and better. Yeah, Afghanistan was like much better in 1970s, 1960s. You know, all these tourists were coming from Europe. We had all, you know, good schools, good universities. You know, the women's were not like in burqas or very, you know, like religious looking. The Afghans are always secular, you know. But from last 34 years, these people, a group of people who took over the government, they slowly changing people's minds to very extremist way. That's what scaring us again. Like we were happy in last 20 years, a lot of things were changed, but now these people come back and you can take it to worse, you know.
Yeah, that's
That's the difference, you know. Like in Germany, those people didn't have this group of people.
Yeah, these are very complex factors. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Now follow Jefferson. It's your turn to talk.
Hi, hello, it's Esmat. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for meet with us. I feel so glad to hear you and meet you in this meeting. This is one of our largest meeting in this time. So we are so worried about the situation in your country. As you know, we live in this cosmopolitan city and country, and we are surrounded by brothers and sisters like you, who are experiencing this situation in their soul and heart. This is Solidaridad Melbourne. I would like to know how can we help you, help your people, help your country? Do you have any contact with some communities or activists there? This space is open for you and our brothers and sisters there. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jefferson. Thank you for standing on this cause and supporting us morally and emotionally. That's what we need at this stage. But in Afghanistan now, everyone is in shock. So there is no specific address at the moment. But surely there will be some addresses soon. I will share it with Diana, and then she can share it with you guys. So what we need at the moment, we just need your you guys just support us morally. Like I know every one of you guys have social media, at least 20, 50, 100 people. So you can raise the voice just for the sake of humanity, you know, like there are children, there are women, there are people, you know, civilians. So you can at least raise your voice, like don't leave Afghan women alone, or don't leave Afghan children alone. So that way it can help us, you know, like we don't see ourselves alone. We will see like, okay, there are people standing with us. Plus it will bring some pressure on the government, no matter which government, at least if you're in Australia or US or Colombia, wherever you are. So that voice will raise, and it will stand up, so it doesn't happen to other country, or at least if it's happening to Afghans, so they can, you know, at least they should have a bit of humanity. You know, the politicians should have at least a little bit of humanity inside them. They have children, they have kids, you know, so they shouldn't play these dirty games, these dirty politic games. So that will be everything, Jefferson, if you're raising your voice, so we know as you guys are there. Yeah, but at the moment there's like the government collapsed last week or last 5 days ago. So the people are still in shock. They haven't organized any community or any foundations. So even the Western Union, like the banking system, it stopped. I was trying to send some money to my cousin. Everything is stopped. Western Union is stopped. MoneyGram, the banking. So those stuff is stopped at the moment. So we can help them financially at this stage. So that's where we need you guys and everyone else to raise their voice. Like, what's gonna happen? You guys, the whole world stopped their banking system, their help and everything. You know, like what these people gonna do next month? I know people, they have food for next 1 month or 2 months. What they gonna do after 2 months? The government is not paying them wages. The factories are closed. The shops are closed. What they gonna do? You know, that's what we are worried for next 3 months or 6 months.
Thank you, Esmat. Please, when you give me the information, I will share with all your, and you can share in your social media. Alex, can you, puedes bajar tu mano, please? Y Monica, can you ask now?
Yeah, just what Jefferson and Esmat were saying. I think we do have a very important role because we're overseas. So as well as in Colombia, being overseas, we definitely have to raise our voices and we have the opportunity to do so. In relation to the situation in Afghanistan, I think I personally, and I think maybe many people in the group would like to support just pressuring the government to get more refugees here, to really be supportive, because I do know, and again, refugees here, they really struggle when they don't get their visas. They get permanent detention for many, many years, and we don't want that to happen. And we definitely don't want to happen to any of the people that is coming from there. From my point of view, it feels like they're just bringing few people, which is what you said is, it's not many, it's 4,000 you said, which is
3,000, yeah.
3,000.
and
Yeah.
it feels like it's many, like, I don't know how it is, but I think it's some Australians that were there as well that they're bringing. I'm not sure, but definitely we need to pressure the government to do so. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say, and that's it. Thank you for sharing that, Michael.
Thanks. Thanks, Monica. Yeah, sure. Here, the Afghan community, they keep having meetings with the parliament members and the Australian immigration, so they can help more. Like, which they can, of course, they can do it. So they keep asking for that, and yeah. So people like you, I'm sure, if you raise your voice, that will have effects. I'm sure. We can't say like, oh, I'm one person, it's not helping anything. But today, the good thing is it's social media. Everyone have a social media platform, so they can raise the voice. Yeah, thanks for being with us and standing in this. Thanks.
Okay. Diana, can you ask, please?
Thank you. Hey, how you going? My name's Ryan. I just had a question around, because a lot of what we saw here in the media for like Afghans leaving was like everyone getting onto planes and flying out. Do you need to speak slowly? Oh, slower? Sorry. So like we saw in the media that everyone was leaving through planes and stuff. Just wanted to know, like, one, like, is it just whoever came first that got on the plane was able to leave? And two, like, what happens to everyone else that can't leave?
Yeah,
That's
true. Yeah. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah. You know, first day when Taliban took over the Kabul, the capital, because everyone is scared of Taliban. These were the people who keep killing people last 20 years, and then they were blowing themselves everyone was scared, like, oh, they are here, like they were killing us last 20 years and now he's here, he's gonna kill me. So everyone was in shock and they just ran to the airport. Like some planes, they just jump into the plane. Some of these people, they took it to some other countries here and there. But it's a bad situation, yeah, like everyone is there in the airport, very sad seeing them, you know, all the women's, the kids, you know, because people are just scared, like there's nothing left, and everyone thinks like, okay, we want to go, like get out of here, we don't want to live with these people controlling the government. So that thing shows people don't like these Talibans, they don't want to live there. No one is leaving his house, no one is leaving his shop, his car, his full home, his everything, his country. There is a reason, and that's the reason that people don't like these Taliban. And everyone is rushing to escape, leave their house full of everything, leaving their money in the bank, leaving their shop, their business, everything, and they just don't want to live under their regime. So that show, on one hand, it's very big crisis, but chaos, but on the other hand, it's showing to the world, like we don't want to live under these barbaric terrorist group of people governing the country. So that's a message to the world. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, just a little bit explain about this question is that it looks that there are some people that used to work for the American government over Kabul. So that's the explanation. There are so many people who was running around of the airports to try to escape into the different countries. That's why those people know that those flights were departing to different countries. And as you can see in the different social media, there are some people that they used to be like writers or cinemas, or some people that used to be around of the government. They were the first that left the country. That's the reason, because they were in the first flights that was out from Kabul.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I was reading an article about that, so that's the explanation for that.
Yeah, exactly. So the people like who were working with U.S. Embassy, or they were working with the army, or they were working in high-rank government officials. So they left at first flights, yeah. And then there are other people who work, like, of course, there are people working in government or work with international organizations here and there. Some of them, let's say like Germany or some other countries, they give them visa, like, okay, you are in risk, come, we help you. So they take them out because Taliban is looking for them. And then other people, they also go and rush the airport. Yeah, that's the reason there's a big rush in the airport. Plus everyone want to go out, and there's not many flights, but still people are just rushing because everyone is scared, like these people gonna kill me. And of course they're gonna bother them. They're going every single house searching, like, oh, you were working in the government, where is the government car, where is this, where is that? Which I'm worried about my family as well. They're in the same situation, you know. My brother worked in government, he was doctor in a hospital, but still, maybe we never know, like if these people go, like just take him out and ask him questions, because they're like kind of animal people. They don't respect you. They sometimes just kicking, slapping, you know, disrespecting you. So that's, everyone is scared of that, you know. Yeah, that's a crazy situation, you know. Can't explain, can't imagine.
Yes,
Yeah.
there is. Okay, Laura question was the same question that Jefferson did before, and Zero question, I don't know who is Zero, but he asked, could you please repeat what is the second scenario?
She asked me. He asked
Yeah.
me.
Yes, do you? Yes, I think so, yeah.
what was it about the thing? Yeah, like what gonna happen in the future? I said like there gonna be two scenarios. First one, just Taliban will be controlling Afghanistan and United States will have a good relation with them. And then United States don't care about women right or human right or anything. They will just do whatever they want. And they will give whatever US want and US will support them. And second option is, second scenario is it's gonna be a big fight. It's gonna be a big fight in Afghanistan. So create a lot of problem for China. So, you know, all these extremists will be fighting against China or at least in their borders, you know. So China cannot grow more in Asia. So somehow they will make headache for China in the border, you know, in their neighborhood and Russia. So that's people, some political analysts says that. I don't know actually, but hope it's not true. Yeah, that second scenario looks very scary. Hope it doesn't happen. Yeah, like, you know, like what happened in Syria. In Syria 5 years ago, you know, like Russia was supporting the government and they were bombing ISIS. And then we don't know who was supporting ISIS. They were fighting against the government and Turkey was there. They were bombing. United States was there bombing. You know, Russia, everyone was like bombing Syria, you know. It was crazy. But lucky Syria government survived and they could resist with the help of Russia. And thanks God, there's no more fights. So people just scared like, oh, it can happen same in Afghanistan. Hope it doesn't happen. You know, like every neighboring country will be supporting one group, giving weapons, bombing. So 1, 3, 4, 5 groups fighting. Hope it doesn't happen. Yeah, but let's see what happens next 3 months, 6 months.
Okay, thank you, Esmat. Daniel, can you repeat, please? Can you ask, please?
Yeah, just a simple question, like how the became so powerful?
Who, the Taliban?
Yeah, how they rose to power. I mean, how they became powerful. They used to be a small group.
Yeah, exactly.
And not significant.
Yeah, exactly. That's why everyone is shocked and we think like, why, if United States was fighting against them last 20 years, yeah, and why did they stop fighting? Why they not fight them now? They are not strong actually. Like I think someone else asked before in the group, the government somehow collapsed, you know. The government army, there were people like told them don't fight, and then they just hand over all the weapons. They give them the whole base, the army base. So they were not strong, so they made them strong, you know. But that was part of a plan. We don't know what plan, who made that plan. A secret plan, of course. Because if it was fight, I know they wouldn't take even one state. Like even they were not able to take 10% of Afghanistan in 1 year, you know. How come in 10 days they took over everything and no one is fighting? And all the armies hand over. But it doesn't mean like the army was happy with them or people are happy. People not happy with them, the army is not happy with them. But that was a plan. But we don't know how they designed that game. But we know like the army, United States was supporting Afghan army. They were giving them money, cars, everything. So that's people are upset with US, like how come they made a secret deal with Taliban. You know, which is very complicated, but the result is there. The result is not complicated. They made a deal. They gave everything to them.
Sorry. The next question from Capi is, does Afghanistan can progress with the Silk Road?
With what? Say that again.
The Silk Road Initiative, the
Silk
China's.
Road. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Silk Road. Yeah, Silk Road Initiative, or one build, one road, one build, something like that. China had that big project. Yes, exactly. That Silk Road past Afghanistan. So, and the main thing is the main power in the region is China. Like again, I said China is there on that road past Afghanistan. So if United States can make a miss in Afghanistan, so that Silk Road Initiative will be stopped for a long time. Yeah, we all knows like it's economy war, you know. So as much as United States want to stop China from getting bigger and bigger in the region, but China is there, they're not gonna stop. But this terrorist game is very complicated. I don't know how China gonna deal with it, because United States is very expert in this thing. They had these Mujahideen 4 years ago, and then Taliban 20 years ago. So they can use them very well. But we don't know how China gonna fix that. Yeah, so that Silk Road, definitely that passes Afghanistan. Like I said before, if you want to connect Central Asia to South Asia, Afghanistan is the only way. It's in between. So you can connect these two parts through Afghanistan. If there's miss in Afghanistan, so you can't connect that. Yeah, definitely it has a big role in it, Silk Road.
Thank you.
No
I
worries.
want to ask for your family. I don't know if you want to ask that question, but I know that you have sisters, nephews, nieces, your parents, your brothers, and I want to know. I know that they are not good, but how they manage this situation, what they have to change. If you can talk with them, if you have, yes, I want to know. Only if you want, if you feel good, answer that.
Yeah, sure. So you're saying like how they feeling, what they thinks?
Yes, and how have changed their life in these 10 days. If your sister can go to war, because I don't know if you want to say
Yeah.
a little about your family history, how many brothers or sisters do you have, if they study or no study, something like that for they know.
No.
A little
Yeah.
understand how change the situation from one day to another.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I have a big family. We are like 4 brothers, 5 sisters. My mom is a strong woman, so she have like 9 kids. Yeah, my 3 brothers, they're doctors. 2 of them in the United States with their family, and my other brother is still in Afghanistan. Then my 2 sisters, they're doctors. They're still there in Afghanistan. My other sister is my 2 sister teacher. The last one is still a student. Yeah, my brother, he's not going to work because he was working in a government hospital. He's not going to work now. My one sister went to hospital. The other one is not going to hospital because they're in different cities. So some cities the situation is very bad. And my other sister, who is a teacher, 2 of them which are teacher. So Taliban stopped them, like, nah, wait, you don't go to school until we tell you. So they're not going to school. And my other sister, which is a student in the uni, she's also not going because they stopped the uni as well. Universities are stopped. So they are worried. My sisters are very worried because they studied like in last 10 years they studied unis, and they were fighting for especially for women and women rights in Afghanistan, especially to make them educated. And my father was supporting them, you know, like to be active in this thing. So emotionally they are very upset, very upset, because they know it's gonna take a lot of rights from them, especially the education, working, being in the, let's say, raise their voice in the media or stand for their rights. That gonna affect everything for women. So yeah, my sisters are upset. Even my brother, he's also upset because my brother got 4 kids, two daughters, 2 sons. He's worried about his kids as well. So what gonna be the future, like if these people in the government, so they're gonna bring, you know, in school they're gonna bring some changes, you know, more Islamic subjects instead of science or economy or engineering or anything like that. They're gonna bring some changes in the school system. So yeah, my dad is worried. Even my dad was going to go. So my brother in United States, he sponsored my mom and dad. He put the document 4 months ago. So yesterday the immigration called him like, okay, you can give them like the visa is approved. They can come in if you want them now, so we can evacuate them soon in the airport, or if you want them the normal way, then you have to wait. And then my brother asked my dad like, okay, for you and my mom, the US visa is approved if you want to come. And then my dad said, no, how should I go now, like because of my sister and my brother. So my dad is saying, if I go to US in this situation, it's not good. I leave my daughters alone. So he got the visa approval to US, but he's not going unless it's whole family. Even my brother is trying to get visa for the whole family. I did apply paperwork here as well to Australia, but I don't know how long it takes. It's not very quick. So yeah, they are worried, but my dad looking after them. Yeah, they know they're stressed. They're stressed because it's a shock, like all your dreams like stop in 1 week, in 10 days, and you can't do anything. But they're surviving, they're looking at it, and they just waiting, same as me and you and everyone else, like what's happening next month or next 3 months or 6 months, what's gonna happen. But of course they are stressed. But yeah, they can't leave the situation because now the borders are closed. You can't get a visa, and there are not many flights in the airport. Like you see in media, it's very crowded in the airport. Plus, like there's my brother's house, my dad's house, my sister's house, so they can't leave the house and everything. All the money is in the bank, so you can't run away. But same time, you can't trust it. Like what's gonna happen? Yeah, that's the situation. So same as that one, all the families worried like that, you know. Yeah. Was there any other question, Diana?
Sorry, Esmat.
No, it's okay. It's good I'm talking about it. If I keep it in my heart, so it stresses me more, but it's good you guys are here. You know, like the more I talk about it, it helps me. But even I'm on the phone with them all the time. I'm talking to them here and there. But it is what it is at the end of the day. What we can do, we can change these big plans or big dramas and things like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I cried a lot the first few days, but I'm not crying anymore.
Cry is good sometimes.
Yeah, but I cried a few times first few days watching, you know, everything, my memories, because I was there. I worked for everything. I was hoping a good future. I spent time there, work there, and then seeing everything falling down made me cry quite a few times. But sometimes you have to accept it, you know, because that's the reality.
Yeah, but you have to fight too, like you are
Yeah, that's the
doing
thing.
this
Yeah,
moment.
yeah, we are. It's not first time happening in Afghanistan. Like I said, in last 4 years, it happened again and again. That's a good thing. We are ready for it. We're not gonna give up. We're fighting for it. No matter if you are here or you're going back. So we're gonna fight. Either we're gonna change Taliban, we're gonna change them, or we're gonna fight them. So that's what we're saying now. Like people saying, what are you gonna do with these people? We says we have to make them change. We have to make them change their mind. Like, okay, you can't rule on us. You have to change your mind. You want this freedom, or unless we're gonna fight them. So we just give them two options. But the good thing is, it's now social media. We are connected very well with each other. You know, like if they're hitting someone, if they're forcing someone, don't go to office. If they're stopping women, if they torturing someone, social media is there, so everyone is just yelling. So people like you here, you can tell people like, okay, these Taliban should change, or why this government saying there's freedom of speech, there's women right, there's human right. So where is human right? Why you allow Taliban in Afghanistan if there's human right? You know, like you can raise the voice. So the government should not lie to you, should not lie to us. If they're lying, we should tell them, okay, why are you lying? You know, so that way we can fight back together.
Raise the voice is fine.
Yeah.
That is a good
Yeah.
option.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, Daniel and Walter have tenían la mano arriba. ¿Van a preguntar o no van a preguntar? No,
Yes. Like not a question. It's just I would like to say thank you so much for sharing your experience and sharing your like all the things related with your family. We know that everything is hard at the moment, and sharing those kind of emotions are not easy. We totally get along and get related with those kind of feelings. We are part of like some of the countries that have been suffering for violence for so long time. Thank you so much for sharing all these emotions with us and all these things. Just stay strong and keep positive for the situation. We wish like all the best for your family and all the best for all your relatives or your siblings. And I think that we are a huge community here in Australia. Use this an advantage to push like all the different governments to try to get as most people out of this of your country.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's everything. You guys are there, supporting us emotionally and morally. That's everything. It helped us. And yeah, this pain for the country, like you're saying, your country is falling apart. It's very, very bad pain. So you forget any other pain, you know. Like if you have all these small things at workplace, you have these problems in business, you have these small problems. But when it comes your country pain, so you forget all these small pains. That's how I am now. I forgot all other pains at the moment, but just praying for the country. But when I'm seeing good people like you standing with us, it gives us energy. It gives us energy to fight back and stand, like we feel we are not alone. There are other people with us. They're hearing us. They see the truth. People are good people, except the politicians. But of course, people power is God power. If people want change, they can change the politicians as well. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, someone more have a question? Someone more? No? No, some message in the chat say Paula Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Esmat.
Welcome.
L is thanks a lot for opening your heart with us. Keep going, not give up, stay strong. Michael put web page where you can sign to the Premier Minister, I think so. Then I think we don't lose anything if we give a click in the direction and sign for them. That is a free and a small help that we can do. I don't know. Thank you so much, Esmat, for sharing your history with us. If you have something that we can share in our social media, please send me and I will share with everybody. And I hope your family be okay. I know it's very bad situation, but I hope they can go outside all together soon. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for being here and showing your solidarity and standing with us and showing your concerns, even from very, very far place like Colombia, but still standing as we are one human being. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that.
The last message, if you need something, just let us know. Say it and some hearts. Thank you everybody for coming. I don't know if Jefferson has anything more for today.
No, that's all. That's all. Okay, thank you everyone for coming today.
Thank you, Esmat, very much for coming, and we should keep in touch, I believe, so we can stand strong, all human beings, as you said, against the power and the politicians and all that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for
Thanks,
your wise
Esmat.
words. Thank you. Thank you. If
Bye,
there was
Esmat.
anything,
Super
Good night.
I will communicate with Diana. I will give her any link for supporting or social, let's say, petition or anything. So I'll just share it with Diana and she can share it with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good night.
You too. Gracias
Diana,
a todos. Dime, COVID Andrés, qué buen nombre.
yes, when will be the next session, maybe?
We are here all Tuesday, 7:30. But the Tuesday is a politics school. We are learning about the Constitution, Colombian Constitution, and the government because we want that everybody in the next election, I don't know, vote good.
Okay, just only about the government, democracy, or only topic, or maybe other topics?
Is many topics. 2 weeks ago, we had someone from Ituango. Creo que Esmat se fue. COVID, do you talk Spanish? Yes. Everybody talk Spanish?
No,
Okay.
I'm not
No?
sure. No, I'm from China.
No.
No, mentira, sí.
Ay, bo. Yo le creí. Hace como 2 semanas, 3 semanas, estuvo el chico de Ituango y nos contó cómo fue la situación allá, algunas historias tristes de todo este desplazamiento. También hemos tenido chicos de la primera línea. Tuvimos la semana pasada a Tamara, ella es brasilera, y nos explicó un poco del conflicto con Afganistán para estar preparados para hoy. Vamos a tener a un invitado de La Guajira en las próximas semanas. La idea es aprender algunas palabras y que nos cuente un poco sobre la situación allá en La Guajira, pero, o sea, como tal, el espacio los martes sí, es para aprender sobre la Constitución, entonces es un espacio en donde debatimos, hablamos, aprendemos. Yo por lo general aprendo mucho porque no sé nada de eso, entonces eso hacemos. Los lunes también tenemos una asamblea en la cual organizamos diferentes eventos para pues ayudar a alguna comunidad si es necesario. Ahorita estamos planeando participar como en un proyecto por el aniversario de los falsos positivos. Esos son los lunes a las 7:30. Los sábados, no sé si lo vayamos a hacer otro día, la semana pasada fue jueves y sábado, estamos proyectando una película por este medio también. La idea es que sea un espacio para que ahorita en lockdown nos acompañemos, debatamos, no tiene que ser totalmente política, social. La idea es como hacer algo juntos para las personas que quizás están solas y eso, pues tengan un rato de esparcimiento. No sé si se me escapa algo, Ana, Capi, Cielo, los que están por ahí, Cata. Creo que eso es todo. Cata,
Ok,
dale,
no,
Cata.
súper.
Hola,
De
¿cómo
todos
están? Buenas
modos,
noches.
los links de las reuniones se están rotando por varios grupos, entonces el tema mío es disponibilidad. Una vez tenga disponibilidad y sepa efectivamente cuál es la próxima, pues me gustaría participar. Igual hoy estuve pues haciendo algunas cosas acá que no había hecho en el día, entonces igual escuché la reunión y pues cosas muy interesantes. Entonces pues nada, espero para la próxima vez nuevamente estar conectado.
Claro que sí, igual si
También,
alguno quiere, sorry Cata, y digo una cosa y ya, si alguno quiere estar en el grupo de WhatsApp que tenemos nosotros, me puede enviar su número o yo soy la que lo comparto, o sea que si me escriben
Ok,
si me
sí,
escriben, yo los puedo agregar al grupo de WhatsApp, entonces simplemente me escriben al WhatsApp o al Facebook o donde lo hayan visto, le dan mensaje y yo con
sí,
gusto
claro.
los agrego. Dale, Cata.
sí, solamente decir que es un espacio para hablar de lo que quieran. O sea, si en algún momento ustedes quieren hablar de comunismo, capitalismo, si conocen a alguien que hace parte de un grupo que, no sé, ayuda, no sé, que representa un grupo feminista o cualquier tipo de cosa, sindicato, trabajo, lo que sea, es súper bienvenido, nos pueden decir y se les abre el espacio. Inicialmente se creó como con el ánimo de estudiar la Constitución, como bien lo decía Anita, y de una u otra forma que los colombianos conociéramos nuestros derechos, aunque estemos en el exterior, y nos preparáramos en lo posible para las próximas elecciones, votar por el que quieran, pero saber por qué están votando por esa persona. Pero en el espacio se pretende que todos compartamos, que tengamos un momento de integración y que aprendamos de muchos temas. Así que bien dicen que Colombia es un país pluralista, entonces aquí incentivamos eso.
Ok, vale, muchas gracias.
Igual para las pelis, si alguno tiene alguna sugerencia, la idea es que tenga, que si es en español, tenga subtítulos en inglés, porque hay gente de la China que se conecta, no mentiras, ahí sí se conectó el sábado una persona australiana y no nos entendía, pero se vio la película en español. Pero entonces igual si alguno tiene alguna propuesta o algo, también nos la puede hacer llegar con el link obviamente, o si alguno quiere donar una película para que veamos, no puede ser Instagram ni Disney ni nada de eso porque el Zoom la bloquea, entonces, pero si tienen
No, pues
alguna
perfecto.
otra, bienvenida también,
Sí.
nos pueden escribir. Y Cielo tiene la mano levantada.
Cielo, are you here?
Sí, pero es que después no puedo encontrar cómo poner el sonido. Nada, es que quería proponerles una película que se llama Ararat y es sobre prácticamente el genocidio que cometieron los turcos contra los armenios. Entonces es bien interesante, políticamente es bien interesante porque digamos que cuando se aborda el tema de Turquía surgen muchas situaciones ahí Entonces, no sé, vi que estaba en YouTube, está completa, pero entonces yo no sé si se pueda compartir. Pues alguien dijo que si estaba en YouTube, creo que Diana, tú dijiste ayer que si estaba en YouTube no había problema para compartirla.
Sí, no, no hay problema para compartirla si está en
¿Está
YouTube.
completa?
Pues si no usas un VPN, ¿no? Porque no sé si usando el VPN y te deje, pero si la puedes ver desde acá Australia, no, no hay problema.
Entonces, nada, simplemente la propongo, me parece que es interesante y que políticamente también pues nos ayuda a comprender un poco más estas situaciones que se dan, sobre todo a través de temas religiosos y culturales. Entonces, no sé, bueno, ahí está y está completa.
Sí, entonces te recomiendo que porfa mandes el link ahí al grupo. Han enviado algunos links estos días. Ana, yo no me acuerdo quién más envió, pero entonces que lo envíes para que podamos tomar una decisión. Y la película que vimos el sábado fue muy buena. Si alguno se la quiere ver, se me olvidó el nombre, les voy a decir.
Ahí te
Se
la pasé
llama,
con el link
sí,
en el grupo.
sí, sí, estoy abriéndola. Se llama La verdad de Soraya. Si alguno se la quiere ver, es muy bonita. Es una historia de la vida real de 1986, si mal no recuerdo, pero es algo que todavía pasa en el mundo. Entonces, se las recomendamos. El Capi la puso ahí en el chat.
¿En dónde
Y
la puedes ubicar?
Ahí en
está
el
acá en
chat
el chat.
de este grupo.
Sí, pero ¿en dónde la puedes dónde la puedo visualizar?
En
YouTube,
YouTube,
YouTube.
está en YouTube.
Ah, ok.
Nosotros somos pro YouTube.
Somos youtubers. Entonces, nada, no sé si alguno tiene alguna pregunta, sugerencia. Bueno.
Nada, muy bien, por su tiempo.
No, muchas gracias a todos por acompañarnos esta noche. Esperamos seguir haciendo más eventos, más charlas y nada, nos vemos en una próxima oportunidad. El que quiera pertenecer al grupo, por favor, me escribe y con mucho gusto
Sí.
yo lo agrego. ¿Listo?
Vale,
Entonces,
pues.
que tengan una bonita noche, que descansen. Chao,
Igualmente.
Lynn.
Happy lockdown for everyone.
Happy lockdown.
Bye.
Nidia, thank you. Bye.